to be the first recipient of the award named after our friend Bob is unbelievable. Before I get started, I'm going to ask you a favor. Last year's award winner, Judy Fredenberg, did not get to hear your applause, and I would love it if we could give a shout out. Judy, would you please stand, because you're awesome. Morning and thank my dear friend Dick Seligman from Caltech who taped that for me, and Denise for their heartfelt introductions. I'm humbled by the nomination letters that were put forward by these icons of research, and I have to include in my thanks my friend Tim Reuter from Stanford, who flew all the way out here today just to be with me, Erin Bailey, who became a great friend we met here in this very hall, or maybe down the hall, and from the University of Buffalo. And all of these people that wrote nice things about me, I just am blown away. How fortunate for me that I happened on a profession that would give me the gift of friends from all over the country and allow me to travel across the world. What a journey it's been. Now, I heard last night there's like 55 new members, so I wanted to tell you that when I started in research administration 20 years ago, I started and I had this woman who I thought was old when she worked for me, but 20 years later she was still there, and I went to her and I call her Gladys, that's not her real name, and I said, Gladys, what is the difference between a contract and a grant? And she looked at me and she goes, Ann, the contracts are in the green folders, the grants are in the blue. And I'm like, what's the difference? And then you know how some Americans, if you're trying to explain something to them in a foreign language, they think if they slow down, and the contracts are in, yeah. So anyway, since then I've learned a few things, but I knew I was in trouble there. I remember my first NCURA meeting, it was Region 2, Princeton, New Jersey. Anybody old enough to remember that one? And I was like so many people, maybe people here, I was like a deer in the headlights. I was overwhelmed by the knowledge these presenters had, and I wondered, would I ever be able to remember all this? And the things these gifted presenters gave me, I was blown away. A short time later, like within a month, I came to this very hotel and I took a fundamentals workshop. I was given this binder, young people, we didn't have the internet, okay? And it was as big as 2 telephone books. And I knew right then and there, I was going to jail, okay? No way. And I often think back, oh my God, Julie Norris, the late great Julie Norris, so many of us know, she used to say at the end of every of her session, don't worry, there's no jail big enough for all of us. So there you go. I struggled with this thing called indirect costs, then they changed the name to F&A. Presentations contained these spreadsheets that would, like these flow charts. You go here and then you go there and you do the reciprocal or the divisor on a blue moon on Tuesday. There were terms like direct cost equivalents and utilities, complicated meter buildings, and blew my mind. So Pat Fitzgerald, MIT, Harvard, and I were presenting right down the thing, and I looked and I saw this picture of water and I said, maybe I can explain it using water. And for those of you who see my video, I understand it's used in training now. Pat Fitzgerald, I'm running around, Pat's like, okay, I said, Pat, your turn to speak. He goes, oh no, you took all the funny parts, keep going. But anyway, I want to say that in the decades since, I've been asked to do that a whole lot and people see it. And who knew that an act of desperation in an attempt to explain this calculation would lead me to becoming a YouTube sensation? Now, I'm not really a YouTube sensation, but I used to ask people to go to that after I did a fundamentals and click on it a bunch of times that they liked it, because my grandson was like 7 years old at the time and he thought I was awesome. So anyway, thank you for helping me do that lie. He called me last night and said, I've decided to go to college. Good idea. Anyway, that's yesterday. Anyway. Slowly, with the help of friends and mentors like my dear departed friend Erica Kropp, Denise, Tim, Marianne Ronaldo Woods, Patrick Fitzgerald, Dave Mayo, Judy, Bob Andreessen, of course, Kim Moreland, I see you all out there, Dennis Pathrat, I see you out there. I finally started to grasp these things. So if you're new to this, it doesn't come by Thursday, okay? It just doesn't come. So, but when I sat and I thought about my career, it wasn't the people that I just mentioned that turned me into my self-proclaimed geek and regulation nerds. It was you. The people in this audience that asked hard questions when I was presenting, the research administrators from universities, large and small, who simply asked why, or which regulation is that? You made me think, you made me research, you made me read and reread and think and turn back to those mentors for their opinions. How did I get so lucky to have people like Rebecca Hunsaker, Tim Shaley, Sandy Collier, Margarita Morales constantly pushing me to understand our profession on a deeper level. Maureen, Amanda, Julie, Colleen, and Kim, and especially Carolyn, you continue to make me better. Thank my colleagues from College Park who came down today. I've grown to love arguing the finer points of compliance. Is there anything better in life than trying to convince Denise Clark that your point of view on a regulation is correct? I mean, really. The fact that I lose 98% of the times doesn't matter. Or arguing the point on allowability with Rebecca Hunsaker, who's a little star of her own here at NCURA. One time, Rebecca and I are arguing in my office over allowability thing, and this young person sits there and starts to cry. I'm like, what are you crying about? You two are fighting. No, we're not. This is how we show love. Oh, and then there's that public thinking, speaking thing. Sometimes I just can't believe that I somehow have the courage to stand up in front of lots of people and just go on and on and on, and I do. Remember in high school when you had to get up for like 3 minutes and you had to like sell something, like shampoo or something? The longest 3 minutes of my life, right? All of us did that in 4th grade. Now, I actually heard myself saying this. Somebody wanted me to present on campus and we're like, Ann, we're gonna cut you back to 20 minutes. I'm like, oh, forget it. If that's all the time you got, you don't have time for me. I'm not coming, okay? So many good times. The time just before the workshop, I was in a lecture hall sitting in a chair with wheels. I sat down, fell off, ended up behind the science bench with my skirt up around my head. Okay, you have to go on for me. Lucky I was behind there. Or the time I was in Alaska. We gotta tell you this story. University of Fairbanks, Rosie. And my clothes, literally, I turned like this, and they ripped off. Now, I learned from that, the night before you go anywhere, you should never throw your clothes in the wash, because sometimes dry clean only means dry clean only. How many times have I suppressed laughter when speaking with Tim and Denise? Oh, and Denise, thanks for always letting me know that there was spinach in my teeth 30 seconds before we would go on. As many of you know, preparing for a session or workshop is a lot harder than it looks. Hot topic sessions are the best example. I spend hours reading and reading and reading just to narrow down what I want to talk about, what do I think is relevant. I want to say to all of you at this meeting today, all the presenters, the workshop leaders, the sessions, the discussion groups, that I admire each of you for the effort I know you put into your presentations that you're going to hear over the next couple days. Thank you all so much for striving for excellence. As my presentation skills improved, so did opportunities. First, I was presenting at regional meetings, then national, and finally I became part of the training team of fundamentals, and eventually helped to create a few of our offerings. I'm hoping that many of you at least try your hand at leading a session. Who knows where it may lead? It's your story. Go write it. The highlight of my career has been the opportunity to speak internationally on U.S. funding regulations. None of this would have been possible without the extraordinary vision and creativity of Denise Clark. She led the University of Maryland's team for U21, created BREAK, Borderless Research Administration Knowledge Exchange. Through these organizations, I've had the opportunity to visit 5 continents and met countless researchers and research administrators across the world. Oh, the places I'll go. But enough about me. What about you? I read an article, and I'm going to quote this, was Jonathan Cole in an Atlanta magazine a couple years ago, and I quote, "When educated Americans think about their best universities, they probably don't think about lasers, FM radio, magnetic resonant imaging, global positioning systems, barcodes, the algorithm for Google, the fetal monitor, the nicotine patch, antibiotics, the Richter scale, buckyballs, and nanotechnology." I meant to look up what a buckyball was. The discovery of insulin gene, the origin of computers, the bioengineering through the discovery of recombinant DNA, transistors, improved weather forecasting, cures for childhood leukemia, the pap smear, scientific agriculture, methods for surveying public opinion, the concept of congestion pricing, human capital, the self-fulfilling prophecy, all their origins in this country's U.S. research universities. Even the electric toothbrush, Gatorade, which we all know about, the Heimlich maneuver, and yes, men, Viagra, had their origins in these great universities. Maybe women too. The institutions have become engines of innovation and discovery that now drive a large part of the economic growth and social change in the United States. End quote. Ladies and gentlemen, you are a big part of these breakthroughs in science. You did it. What did the comedian call us last night? Alternative path researchers or something, scientists? I don't know. But have you ever been prouder of our possession as the world struggled to find a vaccine to halt the death of mankind? Did you beam with pride every time one of your researchers showed up on a news program speaking about the latest breakthrough that would lead us closer to the answer? Did you watch your researchers look bleary-eyed because they've been up all night speaking to a colleague across the globe looking for answers? What a beautiful time for all of us and for all you did. I thank you. You made it possible. It was years and even decades of basic science that was instrumental in this and made this vaccine possible. You read RFPs and RFQs and VA announcements so that you could assist with proposals, calculate budgets, read and reread those proposals, taught your PIs the value of something called spell check. You guarded the sanctity of research by monitoring compliance and worried about protocols and IRBs and all of it. You did it. I am so very grateful to be part of this community and all that we do. Before I go, I must take a moment to thank my family and friends and colleagues who made the effort to be with me on this very special day. My sister Mary is here from New Jersey. My nephew Dave Kenny is here from Hawaii. I already talked to you about Tim, my colleagues from the University of Maryland, and all of you who are watching remotely. I would especially like to thank and acknowledge my late wife Judy, who put up with me for 34 years doing this stuff, and my daughter Melissa. But special thanks has to go to my dear partner, Marianne Yanarell, sitting right over there, who continues to support me in this work. I wish all of you continued good health, and I hope that during this meeting you meet a new friend and learn something new. Enjoy yourself, and thank you again. My deepest thanks for this wonderful honor. Good morning.